it's time to get your bow out and start practicing. You know why? Because a couple weeks will be up on you, and don't be unprepared. Get those muscles that you use ready and relaxed, so when you climb up in that stand and that deer walks by, you are prepared to pull that bow back and be comfortable, let that arrow fly and make a true good shot, and that animal will go down quickly and painlessly as possible, and you will have you some wonderful organic meat for the freezer. Now, I've got my bow out, I've checked the strings out. I'll really take it over, look at it well. If you have a local bow shop and you haven't used it for a year or two, let them take a look at it, but make sure nothing's falling off, nothing's loose, tighten everything up, and then obviously go out and start shooting. Now, when we look at a deer, we look at the vital area. You want to know, and as you look at this picture, this is the vital area, lungs, heart. If you take your time and practice, this is the size of a paper plate, but I like to shoot at small targets. Aim small, miss small. Tiny little, I'll pick out a hair on that animal so I can go directly through that vital area. So if you place your shot well, it's not going to run off 1.5 miles. Be careful, don't take a shot when that deer's moving too fast. Know your bow, shoot from an angle. If you're going to be in a deer stand, set your target up and shoot from that deer stand. All right, now when you're in the tree stand, whether you be in a climbing stand or a ladder stand, however you, even ground blind, put some camouflage on to hide you, and any kind of pattern is fine as long as it, sinks you into that tree so they can't see you. Now, movement is critical. You don't want to do anything too fast. When that deer comes out, you watch his body language. A lot of times they'll look away and then look back, and they're sneaky. If they suspect something, sometimes they can get a little bit of human scent and it doesn't bother them too bad. But if you see one get kind of, especially if they start raising that paw and sticking that paw back down, you better stay still. Now at that point, they're probably gonna start looking up, so just remain still as best you can. If it's a big buck, you're probably gonna be shaking like this anyway, but try to hold still. If you're getting ready, you wanna know how to set your stand up, try to find a place in the woods where you have some natural forage. You know, if there's some oak trees and the acorns are dropping, they're gonna pass up all kinds of stuff to get to those acorns. They love them. So if you've got a place where you know they're coming, look for sign, set your deer stand up along that trail. Think about where your wind's gonna blow. Usually our wind is out of the west. Think about where you can set up where that scent blows around them or over top of them. Get up high enough that you're comfortable, don't get too high. Be conscious of your scent. If you're hunting in the morning and have an opportunity to take your clothes off and wear something else for a while and spray them down with a non-scent spray, do that. Put them back on in the afternoon. If you got a chance to take a shower between your morning hunt and your evening hunt, do that. And don't forget that in the early part of September, when it opens, the bucks are running in bachelor groups and they're easily patterned. You can kind of see where they're coming and going. Obviously, the most important thing to do is to get your bow out and start shooting. Any opportunity you have, go out and shoot. But remember, when you're practicing with your field tip, if that's a 125 grain field tip and then you're shooting a 90 grain broadhead, you're in trouble. Make sure that you shoot your broadheads the same weight. And you may have to sacrifice one broadhead to see how it flies. Some of them have practice blades with them, but make sure you see how that broadhead flies before you take it out there because they're expensive. So anyway, I'm gonna take this and make a couple shots. Now remember this, a lot of people practice their outer range, 30, 40 yards, and they don't practice their 5-yard shots, or they're right under the deer stand shots. Sometimes that's the only shot you get. I started about as close as I could ever get to the animal and work my way out. I have a comfort zone. I don't shoot over 25 yards. Some guys practice at 50 yards and can make that happen. But animals do react to the sound of that bow being shot, and they can go down or up and do all kinds of crazy things and duck that arrow. I'm very comfortable with where my stands are. The maximum shot I'm gonna get is about 25 yards. But practice that close shot, because when it happens, and it will, be ready. If you have an existing stand, make sure you climb up and look to see if any limbs have grown across that you might have to cut back that have grown from last year. Something else that I do, I'll create a path for that deer. I'll mow a path around my stand. They are like anybody else, the trail of least resistance they will travel. And so a lot of times I'll mow a path right down the way and lead them to a nice little patch of acorns, and they'll walk right down it almost every time. So keep that in mind. If you're hunting over a food plot, you're good to go. You've put a lot of work in it. They're gonna come in there, they're gonna do their thing. But again, know your distance and practice, practice, practice. And that's what I'm gonna do right now.